Hello, we welcome you in our studio where we talk with different experts, with people from Ukraine that were originally born and they were living in Zaporizhia, in this region, in Ukraine in general, and then they moved abroad. Someone moved away a long time ago, someone due to the war, and we just want to talk with them. And today in our studio we have a guest from Iceland. This is Andriy. Andriy was born and he studied in Ukraine in the university. He lived here in Zaporizhia, and then he moved to Poland and then to Iceland. And Andriy, hello.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Your master studies were about the conflict in the east of Ukraine, about the conflict in Donbass with Russia. Please, can you tell us a little bit more about this subject and how changed the knowledge of Western society since you started this job of this educational job about the conflict, and what is the level of knowledge now when we have a full-scale war?
Originally, I started my PhD studies in 2013, right before the Russian aggression started in the eastern Ukraine. And I was intended to do my project about the European integration. But then I just realized that the topic regarding the Russian aggression in eastern Ukraine would be more relevant to do and to educate students there, and I shifted to that topic and started to do lessons regarding this fresh topic, and I published several articles, and finally I defended my PhD project. And regarding your question about the level of knowledge regarding this topic, I would say that Eastern Europe, of course, has more broad knowledge about this conflict, about this Russian aggression in eastern Ukraine. And the more you're moving toward west, this knowledge getting more, not so clear, I would say. But this is our things to do in the future. This is work we need to do, I think. And another thing I would say that before I moved to Iceland, for instance, I didn't know anything about Iceland. I would just mention to tell about the capital city of Iceland. I wouldn't be able to mention other towns or settlements about Iceland. And I also learned a lot about this country. And Icelanders also like to learn something new about Ukraine.
About modern times, about I know last year, about last few months maybe. What can you tell us? Maybe there are some hubs, some centers of volunteer helping, like maybe some donations known for you in Iceland that support Ukraine somehow. Maybe just what is a general vision of this situation in Iceland now?
Absolutely. When the full-scale invasion of Ukraine started, I was so surprised how Icelanders stand up and supported Ukraine. Like the very first day, on February 24th, it was a huge manifestation in Reykjavik area and in other smaller towns around Iceland. Like many other communities, together with Icelanders, supported Ukraine. It's Polish community, Lithuanian community, and other people who live here. And this is regarding the civil manifestations, but when we come to a political support, the official Icelandic statement was also to support Ukraine, and later Iceland became as a hub of transportation between Northern America and Europe, when all those transportation coming through airport in Keflavik in the southwest Iceland. And for instance, Iceland also donated its, I wouldn't say it didn't donate the whole plane, but they allowed to use their plane to transport some humanitarian aid from Northern America to Europe and then to Ukraine.
Yes, that's really appreciated, and we thank everyone, and everyone is very thankful about this fact and about every kind of help that we get from Europe. And maybe you've got some questions, maybe you've heard some questions from Icelanders that are interesting for them, and that we can talk about that, we can tell you about.
Like one of the most surprising things which happened here to me, that Icelanders started to learn a lot about Ukraine, regarding Ukrainian geography, for instance, Ukrainian history or Ukrainian towns, culture, society, and other things. As I said before, I moved here, I couldn't be able to mention other towns than Reykjavik in Iceland. The same applied to Icelanders, for instance. If you would ask Icelanders, can you please tell something about Ukraine? Like in general, they would mention maybe capital city, maybe Lviv, Odessa, and point. But today, they know where Zaporizhia is, for instance, where is Mariupol and other towns and cities in Ukraine. And of course, they asked me a lot about Zaporizhia, about the nuclear power plant in Zaporizhia, about Azov Sea, about Black Sea, about Dnipro River, about Kharkiv, about our army, society, history. There are so many things which they asked and about, and of course they, at my work, my colleagues, basically every single day they started a day with a question like, how is your city? How is the situation in Ukraine? How is your family? How is your friends? And sometimes I just got this information from the news, but of course sometimes I got some information from my friends in Zaporizhia. And I would also like to ask you, what would you say about the current situation in the region both and in the city?
Yes, now we have a little bit maybe better situation with the nuclear plant. You mentioned before that we don't have no more this, senseless threats from Russia, no more shellings of nuclear station, and it's really bringing some sort of calmness to our lives and to lives of all people near the south of Ukraine. And we still have very tense situation here. This still is a very important part of the Ukraine, the very important vector where our forces can move, because Melitopol is really important logistically for Russia, because they can supply their forces that based near Donetsk, that based in the east of Ukraine, they can supply Crimea, so they can just roam around. And now it's maybe a main task for our forces to get the rest of the Kherson region, and then to move from Zaporizhia down to south and down to Crimea. And of course we're all waiting for Crimea to come back also. But situation is still tense, situation is still hard. We still get a lot of shellings to our infrastructure, so we still got a lot of shutdowns. We've got like 3 hours of light, then no light for maybe some time for 3 hours. These graphics, they change a lot, but still people are standing and people just want to win. We can say that even these measures from Russia, they don't make Ukrainian people, I don't know, maybe lose their faith, lose this hope, and just I don't know, surrender to Russia. This won't happen. So we're just waiting and we're hoping for our army and for things to get better. Yes.
One of my friends also asked me, like, he's watching news mainly every day, and you know, on the news you just see like those, like something in the digested information, and he said that I see only destruction and like all those tough situations, but can you please tell me how the daily life look like in your city? What people do during the war? I know that it's not like everything is destroyed, and he's just asking how the daily life looked like during the war in the city.
Well, if I don't know, if we don't have mentioned the air alarms, right, and the danger of shellings, it's kind of a normal life. But you just think every minute about war. You think about helping someone, about different donations, about different problems, because you see this information everywhere. Like you see people from military on the streets, you see cars, you see maybe some, I don't know, tanks, you hear how airplanes fly, or maybe some drones even attacks. So basically you're just living in this and you're not forgetting about this. But of course everyone tried to have their short moments of happiness, of joy. So we had like a new year, we had a Christmas where families could gather around the table and just have maybe 2 quiet hours. So life is, I know, it's pretty normal for us now, but it's far from normal for other regions, for Europe, maybe for USA, you know.
Absolutely.
A main question of today's episode, we want to know what your thoughts as a as a relationship analyst, right? What your thoughts and what Western thoughts about the future of Russia? Because of course everyone here wants Russia just to, you know, disappear from a political map after our win in this war, and maybe just for Russia to be decentralized, maybe to, I don't know, separated somehow. And what are your thoughts? What can you tell us?
I would tell that there are so many ideas what will happen in the future. From those one would we as Ukrainians would not like, and for those which we stand for. The first option, of course, is just some compromise between Ukraine and Russia, and we know that we Ukrainians would not accept this. And I always tell those who suggest and offer to have a compromise between Ukraine and Russia that we can't trade with our land, and we can't give up on memory of all of those who gave their lives and health for Ukraine. We can just have a compromise now. After such a long way we already done. And the second option is to, of course, the future of Russia. And I think the biggest concern of the Western society is what to do with the nuclear arsenal of Russia, because Russia had the biggest nuclear the biggest nuclear arsenal in the world, perhaps even after the United States. And I always tell foreigners and all those people in Western society that Ukraine also used to have the nuclear weapon, but we just simply gave up on this weapon. But Ukraine showed the very positive example for the whole world that it is possible to live and to give up on your nuclear weapon without any consequences, of course, in the short term.
Yes, it's...
And yes, this is in a nutshell.
Yes, and this probably should be a main idea, that even after we win in this war, we need to remember that the danger, the threat from Russia, they not disappear, that we can still wait for another war maybe in 20, 30, 40 years. So the Western world, they should take with us some measures to prevent this war in the future. And
absolutely. This is our history, and if we look into our history, what is happening now used to happen 100 years ago, 300 years ago, and 500 years ago. And we are pretty sure that we might be sure that it might happen in the future the same. So we just need to be ready for every kind of scenario.
Yes, and I'm really thankful that you are here with us today, Andriy. And I'm really thankful for the information you gave us, and I hope that you get some interesting information, some new information from us today. So thank you.
Thank you from my side. Thank you for the invitation, and nice to see you.
Nice to see you, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Радіо на дотик. На дотик.